All right, welcome back to Made by Dad. He does the making, I do the talking. Same deal as always. Except, hold on. You might have noticed something already. Those aren't Dad's hands. Nope, that's not a hand cream ad, promise. Those are mine. A little softer than Dad's, I know. That's what happens when you grow up on a computer instead of behind a lathe. Which is exactly why the hands are different today. Because Dad didn't build this whole thing. I built half of it. The Lego half. The little yellow house, the farm, the pig, the sheep, the pumpkin patch, the tree with all those flowers. Everything you see me assembling, that's me. My side of the build. The other half, the mountain behind it, the nether portal, the glowing forge, all the hand-sculpted rock and fire and all that weathered stuff, that's Dad. And his job here was to somehow connect the two, his world and mine, in one build. This might be my favorite thing we've ever made together. Let's get into it. Alright, quick thing about Minecraft. If you don't know this game, first, how? Second, it's the best-selling video game of all time. Over 300 million copies. That's more than every Grand Theft Auto combined. More than every Call of Duty combined. More than any game ever made. It started as one guy, Marcus Persson, Sweden, back in 2009. Just messing around with pixel blocks in his apartment. 5 years later, he sold his little company to Microsoft for $2.5 billion. And here's the thing about Minecraft. You don't win it. There's no ending. There's no boss you have to beat. You just build stuff. Live somewhere. Farm at day, fight monsters at night, come home before dark. Basically, you build a small world and you live inside it. Which is exactly what we're doing right here. Just in real space instead of pixel space. The game I played when I was 12, alone in my room, now sits on a table next to a mountain my dad built by hand. I still can't quite believe that's a sentence I get to say. Okay, so this whole build has messed with me a little. Because I remember when I was a kid, like really a kid, I would stay up till 2 a.m. playing this game. Building stuff. Nothing important, just houses, farms, a little wooden bridge over a stream. And my dad would walk past my room and go, "What are you even doing on that computer?" He didn't get it. Blocks on a screen, cartoon graphics. He thought I was wasting time, and he told me so. Often. 20 years later, we're sitting at the same table, and he's the one placing those same blocks, but with his hands. Painting the mountains. Making the fire in the forge glow with a real LED tucked inside. He still doesn't play the game. He doesn't know what a creeper is, doesn't know what the nether is, or a redstone. He just built it because I asked him to. And that thing my 12-year-old self would have given anything to see, my dad taking my little block world seriously, is happening now. Just 20 years late. I don't know what to do with that. I keep trying to say something clever about it and I can't. It just is what it is. Late, but it counts. Something interesting about this specific build. Normally, a diagram is a diorama. One style, one material. Consistent scale. Everything visually agrees. This one's not that. Lego is one aesthetic. Bright, cartoon, obvious. Diorama craft is another. Weathered, textured, and painted. 2 completely different visual languages. And Dad had to make them meet in the middle. A Lego tree next to a hand-sculpted rock. A Lego farm next to a nether portal made of paper and paint and a real glowing bulb inside. If either side is too strong, the other one looks wrong. Too much realism and the Lego starts to look like a plastic toy, sitting in a museum diorama. Too much cartoon and the rock work looks like a school project. The trick is, the seam has to feel earned. Like these two worlds naturally belong next to each other, like they always did. Which is kind of the whole point, actually. Two worlds, different scales, different rules, living side by side. Turns out, that's also a decent metaphor for a lot of things. But I'll shut up about it now. Here's something you probably don't know about LEGO Minecraft. The very first LEGO Minecraft set, the one that started the whole thing, wasn't designed by LEGO. A fan made it. Just some guy. Built it in his living room out of loose bricks he already had, took photos, uploaded them to LEGO's fan idea platform, and basically said, "Hey, you should make this a real set." Enough people voted for it that LEGO actually did. They turned that guy's living room prototype into an official product, and then a whole line. And today, LEGO Minecraft is one of the biggest, most successful lines they've ever made. All because one fan thought, the game I love would look cool in blocks. And a company that had been making blocks for 80 years went, actually, yeah, we should do that. Sometimes the fan sees it before the company does. I think about that when I look at what Dad's doing here. He's building a game he's never played because his kid loved it. That's basically the same story. Building something you didn't know you'd love because somebody you love loved it first. All right, one more thing before we close. The small stuff on this one hits different because it's made of two kinds of small stuff. There's my side, the Lego villager tucked in the doorway, the wheat farm, the pig that Dad has decided is his favorite thing in the whole build, the tree with all those tiny colored flowers. And then there's Dad's side, the forge, with a real LED coal fire glowing inside it. The zombie pigman, hand-painted so the texture actually looks like game-textured pink flesh. The chains coming out of the minecart. The rocks, every single one shaped from foam. Painted by hand, weathered so they look like they came out of the game itself. For a game he'll never play. Spend an hour just looking at the seam, where Lego meets rock, where the cartoon world hands off to the sculpted one, where my part meets his part. That's the actual magic of this build. Not the Lego half, not the Dad half, the middle. The moment where a plastic block and a hand-carved stone are sitting next to each other, and neither one looks weird about it. All right, winding down. This one's honestly hard for me to close out, because it's not really a build. It's a memory that shouldn't exist. The version of me that was 12, at his desk, building Lego villages alone. If you'd told him, one day your dad is going to help you make this, for real, and put it on the internet, he wouldn't have believed you for a second. But here we are, and here it is. Every once in a while, life circles back and gives you a moment you didn't know you were waiting for. If you played this game as a kid, or you still play it now, or you have somebody in your life who does, I hope this build reminds you of something warm, something you thought was small, but turned out to be bigger than you knew. Real quick, if you're liking what Dad's doing, the subscribe button really does help. It's what makes us keep going. And if you drop a comment, I read them all to him. He doesn't speak English, so I actually translate every one. Doesn't matter what you write. Even just hi makes his day. Really. Made by Dad. That's the whole thing.